All right, everyone. We start off today with the fucking hilarious story here with Mike Davis. If you heard what he said about Letitia James and the Democrats in a more general sense the other day, he's on the short list as considered for potentially a role in the Trump cabinet, possibly Attorney General, by the way, which would give him wide-reaching legal latitude over a variety of issues, including lower-level cases like that of Letitia James. And he said, I dare you to continue this lawfare as Trump is, sworn in. We'll put your fat ass in jail. I like how the legacy media frames it, a profanity-laced tirade. Well, no, it's just warning her not to continue because now there's going to be different people in charge. But, of course, the legacy media is going to skew what he said. They did the same thing when he said he was going to drag the Democrats' political corpses through the streets. If you look at the legacy media right now, of course, they change that into a very explicit, literal statement, and they say, well, he's talking about dragging Democrats through the streets. See, we told you Trump was going to do a fascism. Of course, he hasn't been chosen for any specific role yet. He might not be. Personally, I deviate from some other individuals. There are basically two states of mind right now in the wake of the election. Some people want the unity and joy thing, which is like literally what we just fucking rejected on the latter end. And they're like, well, we're going to need to work with the Dems and stuff. Forgive and forget. We'll have lockdown amnesty and all of this other bullshit. Then there's the other competing view, which is like, no, go hard, just go all in. And that's what I agree with generally. Now, you do need bipartisanship. You are going to end up with negotiation and compromise in the sense of government. It's inevitable. Even the Biden administration had to engage in it at times, sometimes to the detriment of the country, by the way, with the conservatives on board. But there's something to be said for saying, this is my logic. Let me explain. Donald Trump is going to get persecuted no matter what he does. Melania can't even put up Christmas decor without them rambling about it and finding something to bitch out. Barron is too tall and too shy and nerdy. Don Jr., he shitposts too much. He says damn and ass and stuff like that. Eric Trump is too reserved, and Ivanka's a whore, and all of these other things that they levied, that's just in his family. That's just him and his family. J.D. Vance is weird and neurotic, and his wife, he chose her as a DEI wife, and stuff like that. You see the most monstrous things said about these people, even when they don't do anything. Then if they don't do anything, well, they're being lazy. They literally can't win. This is the same for anyone associated with the administration. America's mayor all of a sudden is himself a crook. Roger Stone is, oh my God, he's doing the machismo thing. Mike Davis here is talking about dragging people through the streets. They're all terrible fascists and Nazis. Since you're not going to get any inroads with regards to legacy media coverage, cooperation beyond the congressional level, in terms of negotiations, you're not going to get any latitude, any respect, even when you do something objectively right, like with the Abraham Accords. You remember this years ago in Trump's first term. He signs off on a compact between multiple countries, and peace starts breaking out across parts of the Middle East and East Africa, sort of a pathway to normalization of relations in the region. And even then, despite wide plaudits from the public, the legacy media could not bring itself, nor could the Democrats bring themselves, to simply congratulate Trump on a major foreign policy victory. Instead, they said, well, I guess this one wasn't so bad. People are generally applauding it. They just wouldn't give him credit. They're never going to. Since that's never going to happen, go all in. They're going to call you a fascist no matter what you say. They're going to regard you as an illegitimately non-elected Russian agent either way. They're automatically going to try to stonewall you, and they'll have the help of the unipartyist conservatives in so doing. If you're not going to get any form of cooperation in a realistic way, other than, again, at the congressional level, like budgets and shit like that, to the point where you have to use discretionary spending to fund the border that the Republicans spent 30 years whining about, if you're not going to get any sort of respect for your foreign policy, which I imagine is going to be light years better than anything Biden did, and if people are just going to bitch and complain and stonewall the entire time, what the hell do you have to lose? You can't run for election again. If I'm Donald Trump, right now I'm saying I'm going to extend a few olive branches to the Dems and to the system just to allow negotiation to occur. Everything else is going to be stacked by my insiders. So Michael Flynn will be there, maybe Davis, somebody like that. He just chose his chief for the White House. It's a chick from the Reagan era, actually. This is a good sign. So far, when we meander into the sort of people he's surrounding himself with, it's much better than 2016. Because he mistakenly believed in 2016 that if he hired a bunch of neocons, that he could get the party to work with him. So at the very least, you'd have partisan support, but it didn't work. What happened, and Vance laid this out a couple of weeks ago and explained it perfectly, and we knew that this was going on, but it's good to hear Vance actually acknowledge it, much to the chagrin of, what's his name? I think it was on CNN or NBC, one of those legacy networks. And he said, look, the reason why there were so many hiring problems and people were cycling out so quickly is because everyone would come in and try to control Trump. And then when he laid the law down and said, I'm going to make the decisions myself, you're only an advisor, they left in a huff. And I believe that totally. I mean, we sort of saw it for a number of years in living color. Now, go ahead and, you're going to get called a fascist no matter what you do. Donald Trump could whirl around right now, pull a 180, carbon copy Kamala Harris's statements, and if he would release them, they'd get panned by the same legacy media that literally applauded the same thing only months ago. I've thought about him doing like a social experiment sort of thing. Make a speech in which you low-key effectively copy what Kamala has said, and all of a sudden people will be up in arms and call that fascism too. It is inevitable. So go all in. Go hard. You're probably going to get impeached for a third time anyway. No matter what Donald Trump does, the Uniparty, by structure, is not going to give him any respect or credit, and they're going to negotiate with him and work with him as little as possible. This includes elements of his own GOP. We're looking at the Senate right now, where, by the way, the GOP picked off another seat last night, so they'll be standing at 53. Again, 52, 53 was my guess, somewhere around there. That's what they got. It gives them a little bit of a comfortable buffer as far as Senate appointments and things like that, which is good. And they will hold the House, it looks like. Again, by a single-digit total, they added a few seats, which again was expected. And that's good. I'm just hoping that he gets Rand Paul in as have an open sort of intra-Senate primary for who the majority leader is going to be. I want Rand Paul. I'm hoping it's not a neocon like Cornyn. Let the situation play itself out. If I were Trump, I'd put Rand Paul forward because he's been an ally of liberty for quite some time, and I'd give him my backing. And then I'd say the party can choose who they want, but this is the person that I would prefer to work with as Senate Majority Leader now that Mitch McConnell is gone. With the House, I'd do like Massey. Again, it would terrify the liberals. Oh my God, a fascist is now running the House. Another fascist and a Russian plant is running the Senate. And the ultimate Nazi, the carbon copy of Hitler, is running the White House. We're all doomed. I assume that Handmaid's Tale, suits right now, those dumb red dresses, I'm assuming that fetishistic masochism is very popular online. Sure, there have been 10 times as many sales on Amazon. And you start seeing TikTok videos of people, LARPing as though they're going to be barefooting in the kitchen. I'm barefoot in the kitchen, and now my husband owns me as property, and I lost the right to vote, and stupid shit like that. That's the delusional fantasy that has been concocted for years by propaganda. Trump going soft right now is not what we need. Negotiation? Yes. Compromise is applicable? Yes. Don't worry about who you choose for staff. Surround yourself with yes men if you want to. It'll still be better than the alternative. So when I see this, I had to chuckle, saying he's going to lock up Letitia James' fat ass. That's sort of the message that we want right now. They did spend years saying that people like myself should be in concentration camps because we didn't get the jabby McJab and stuff like that. So I think it's fair. A little bit of boisterous language is not exactly actual fascism. People who have never been under a fascist regime seem to be quite, they think it's quite a popular mentality. It's a really great thing to engage in to LARP. But that's just all it is. It's a goddamn LARP. They're literally just playing make-believe at this point. They're completely delusional. That's about all. Peace out.